Luke is directing.
Is Luke directing traffic? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to share the agenda with you real quick. So let me do that first. So you have that. And then those of you who went to ties, if you're presenting anything, if you like have anything you want to link in, just do it next to your name. If you don't, that's fine too. Okay. So let me share this with you real quick.
But I will go put a sign on the outside in case Luke doesn't want to stand there. Yeah, most of you guys typically come in the media doors over there.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are live for people who are watching later. Hello, thank you for watching. Hopefully you can hear us. I didn't check the sound, but I see the little thing bumping up and down, so that's good. Okay, so did everyone get the agenda?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so Terry, I see Nikki, I see Shannon, I see Olivia,
Yeah, we're
Jade,
taller.
Ashley.
I'm near the high school. She always calls me.
Yeah, Brittany's usually the one that's calling everyone else and telling them to get here.
Else has class.
Where are we meeting? There are kids in the media center. In the lab in the media center.
Channel lab.
Should I put another sign on that? What? Are we
Kayla just texted me.
Like it.
But there's just so loud in there.
I gave all my classes cyanide, and I was like, no. It's an interesting thing to admit on live streaming.
Okay, I need everyone to get out. Hopefully you have one, a smartphone. Does everyone have a smartphone with them?
I don't know if I
Awesome.
I'll make you a card. Oh, yeah, you should call.
And grab a pen.
No, I got it.
I'm gonna make you do something fun and
Wait,
engaging.
you need a smartphone and an old
Yeah.
school.
And I need you to have like an old school device, which, gosh, I hope I have one.
What's it called?
You ready to use
Oh.
pencil?
Might have to rely on Shannon here.
I got plenty.
I am giving some away later.
Sorry, we're back.
There she is.
We're
Hi.
back inside. We just walked to the door, saw kids, and then.
I know, because you were scared.
Scared of children.
All right.
That was me.
I know.
And she needs to go over here because we're taping.
Yep, I need you over here because we're taping for the people who couldn't be here tonight.
Like, remind me.
Okay, so to get started, I've already shared the agenda with you. I need everyone to get out their smartphone. We are going to play Game of Phones for 10 minutes. The way that we play Game of Phones is very much like an old school party game. So yay, we love party games. But getting us up because we don't get to spend a lot of time like our whole group. So what you're going to do with Game of Phones is you're going to find people who have these things on their phone and have them sign. I know some of you just got here and it's going to get you up and moving and being sociable. I promise you will love it. It is so much fun.
I'll just have a conference all
I know. And this is going to be even more fun.
It's secret eye all day.
See, all the people who are watching us live are like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I am at a basketball game or a doctor's appointment right now, or my child's ECFE.
They're so sad they're not going to get to play the game of
I know, the Game of Phones. Isn't this clever?
But wait, the live streamers don't get prizes. I think you mentioned you have prizes.
I have prizes.
All right.
So I have a prize for whoever collects the most names. And because we have a smaller group, I don't care if you use, well, you have to try to get everyone in the room. So you can't use the same person for like all of your names, okay? Deal? Otherwise, I'm not going to count how many times you use it. I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. They have to show it to you on their phone, and then they have to sign your paper. Right? Oh, you need to get out your smartphone and a pen, and I'll give you a piece of paper, and we're getting started. Look at her. Carrie's ready to go. Go. Straight from Bug Street. Okay, my background is my dog.
Oh, all right, of course. No, you never shocked.
Yes. And we're live streaming because there's some people who have. Do you have to find people that have these things
Are
on
we
their
supposed to
phone?
sign it or we can just write their name on it?
You can write their name or have them sign it.
Kind of family and.
There's no limit because we're live, we can't have a lot. But I can sign yours for your name down
Of course it is. I can.
Awesome. Okay.
These are all pictures. Thanks, Tanya.
Yay, I need a picture of Pet, so I'm gonna put picture of Pet, Carrie. Awesome.
Yeah.
Selfie on vacation.
Picture of food. I had a picture of my.
Yeah, no, it's a
What if
picture
it's
of
minutes I get everybody?
artwork.
Thanks, Rachel.
Awesome. Okay, you need your cell phone and a pen. And Nikki's gonna get you a game of phone. Does anyone have a picture of an animal that's not a cat or dog?
I do.
You have?
Yeah. I have.
Oh, my.
Fish.
Is that because
You're not from those.
So I think that's not a pet.
Yeah.
Where's mine?
He was not a pet.
That is not a cat or dog.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
I have one of students actively learning that I just took today while I was teaching time in class. They're learning about the internet.
Oh.
Yeah. So that is right under.
I like the,
Yep.
like segregation, empty minutes, more, or whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my wallpaper is my dog.
Oh, me too.
I like the
I'll do one of my dogs.
Aw.
ethnicities together and they're really learn from each other.
I know. All right.
Facebook.
I have Google Sheets.
I got a wait.
There's only so many people here.
I don't have a Kindle reader, but I
What do you have on your
I have a Kindle reader, that was mine. Okay.
Of course you do.
I have Libby though, which is not.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's a library.
I don't know what it is.
No, yeah.
You can get that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to.
Awesome.
Because I don't have those.
Hey, Jody, you have Uber. What
I know, I remember.
I don't.
Go do that one.
I have Twitter.
I'll do a bunch.
Thank you.
And what's the other one?
Instagram or,
Instagram.
Holy, you're going to
I
town.
don't think I have LinkedIn. I do have LinkedIn, but I don't know where it is.
All the time.
Share it. Or,
I have lived.
do you want to tell why you know I have one? All right, get on a smartphone and a pen. We are playing Game of Phones, and you just have to be on this side of the room because we're filming.
I put my name here.
You guys should try to get some.
I have Uber.
We're just having people sign things that are on.
Okay.
Okay.
You can do it. Keep her up later.
Did I say yours?
You did not sign
Oh, what do I need to sign? This is mine.
Is that big?
Well, there's better.
What should I sign? Yours for Uber?
Did you have an on-mail?
Yep.
What kinds of crap I did.
Giving Aaron some fun rides in Uber.
Pictures for you.
Pretty's here. Oh, there we go. Google Keep. I use Google Keep all the time. And I have Flipgrid. Under education. Oh, I got it. I'm not gonna be a cheater.
Picture of
LinkedIn.
Yeah, so you want to find out?
You don't have-
Is QR, you can find the best.
I do have
I'm sorry, I'll use that one.
Very nice.
I have a boxer. Do I have a
I have a picture of a drinker of beverage.
What?
Oh, the phone won't get kept as I just figured. Okay, just cute girls and matching videos.
Oh, shush. How cute.
What vacation?
I was in Two Rivers, I did
I have a matching one. I don't know.
the water ball tour. I got it from the 42.
Nice.
Sure, have a
Nice. Was that your family salty? Or no, that was just your
Yeah,
dog?
that was just me.
What about your pets? Pets on your phone?
Are, I have now.
Here,
We just added one.
where's that one?
Oh, brave you.
These are two of them.
Yep.
You're so
Here's the front, this is the new one.
Oh,
right here.
And
There you
just
go.
adopted her.
No, this is Ashley.
And crab legs for our players.
You have Instagram. I know you have Instagram.
Three puppies?
Yeah.
Anyone have an email with over 200 unread emails?
Yeah, I have a really terrible email that I just send my junk to.
And I never read it at all.
There's.
Oh. I don't have like t-shirts, I don't see it.
Clyde. His sister's name is Bonnie.
Shut
This
up.
one, you can put it right there.
Was that for,
All right, ladies. I think we did. I like that. Let's see. Oh, Twitter. I've got Twitter right on front.
How are you doing? Oh, here's a.
Juliana DeStefano, please come to the office. Juliana to the office.
I do, I didn't know if you read that. No, I don't know.
You decide.
Oh, sure. That's a taken.
Oh, yes, that is.
I have socks.
Yes,
There you go.
Jump in the water.
Five.
Okay, yeah.
Five.
Yeah, I know. I was like, how do I read it? I read it on my phone.
There you go.
This is what we're playing. For those of you who are joining us, it's Game of Phones. And people have to get people to sign off on all the things they have on their phone. I linked it into our agenda so you can play it with your kids or grown-ups. Let's see, who else is here now?
Oh, yeah, here we go. Perfect.
Okay, all right.
I know, I don't know if my kid, does that count? She has fun.
I can look at yours. I know I have a picture. Okay. Hello.
I haven't had either of you yet.
Oh, cool. Oh.
All right, got about 1 minute left. I'm gonna bow out since I know what the prizes are and that wouldn't be fair.
Perfect, excellent, thank you. I have a picture with, Cuckoo Kangaroo, is that kind of someone famous?
That's gotta be something famous.
But that is stretching the rules. It
Wait a
says
minute.
someone.
I have Jim
I have someone's in a
Here, you want to
newspaper
find out?
article.
Are they famous?
No, not if I don't know who they are. Like Big Boy, who was that?
Actually be able to qualify.
Do you need a garden picture?
But I mean, during the most exciting people in the game.
Oh, this is the peppers, I got peppers, that was zucchini, anyone need a garden picture? I have tons of gardens.
I need a boxer, a LinkedIn.
I don't think I've ever had a garden picture.
Carrie has
Everybody
a
has a
garden
garden
picture.
I have what? If you need anything dog pictures, I'm your girl. Oh my gosh.
I do have a bird, Jody B.
Whoa.
Who needed the garden picture?
There's rhubarb and garden.
Terry had one that she was on.
Word. Wow.
Yes, my car.
That's hilarious. We've had creepy dolls at like the intermediate school that have like made their way around classrooms and.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
All right, and freeze. Go back to your spot, count up how many names you got.
Oh my God.
I was too busy writing my name.
No. Like how many?
How many lost? 32.
I know.
Can you sign your own?
No, you can't send your own.
I don't know.
All right, so someone had 32,
37.
37.
How many are there total?
I don't know.
I had 30.
Anyone higher than 37? Rachel's the winner!
I got here late and I won.
Yay, Rachel, you won a fabulous sway prize full of prizes from my sway drawer. Congratulations.
Which were the ones you didn't have? I'm just curious. We missed them.
LinkedIn, Flipgrid, and Food App.
Ooh, I have Flipgrid.
But you bowed out.
I don't have a food app. I don't cook.
I have a lot of terrible food recipes in my photos.
Unless Pinterest counts as a food app. I don't know.
Because you can find recipes.
Yeah, that's probably the only place I have recipes.
I have lots of small places.
See,
Yeah.
I ordered pizza.
I do have one more prize to give away today, but I'll tell you when later. So thank you for coming. I know the weather is frightful. Are the roads getting bad? Yeah.
I was getting from Roseville. I'll enjoy the
Oh.
upcoming snow days.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna try to power through because those of you who I signed your sheets, I do have a baby at daycare. He's 8 and he walks on 4 legs, but he is a baby. And if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you know how much he is my baby. And so I do have to pick him up, and driving back to St. Cloud once it gets dark and snowy isn't my favorite thing either. But we do have some important stuff to talk about, so I don't want to gloss over anything. But this year, something that was really cool is Jessica and Ben too really have said that they want to make it a priority that we're putting our tech people and the people who are involved in technology going to these conferences. So they're sending several of us to ISTE this year. So we had people who applied for the ISTE scholarship and got it. So congratulations to Aaron and Rachel, Aaron and Nicole. But then we had some people who applied and didn't get it, and we were able to get some funding to work. So Rachel and Cindy Schmatz will also be going, and then and Angela Harville applied for a staff development grant, and she was granted that on the condition that she writes some PD for us. This new PD on demand, which is going to be launched in 2 weeks for Princeton, where you'll be able to do some online PD on your own time. Yep. Well, that's coming up too. I might be tapping into some of you for that. The reason I bring that up is they're just really trying to focus on that we are bringing that. So I think that's a cool change where before it's been, are we sending people to ties? Are we not? This year we were able to send people from every building. And so I really wanted to make sure we devoted one of our district meetings to highlighting the things that they learned, because there was a lot of excitement. I know some of us who have gone before, I'll be honest, we were kind of like, It was a little disappointing because with all the changes ties went through, the attendance was really down. But I really fed off the energy of a lot of you who were new there and were really excited about things. I took a lot away personally. I took a lot away, and I'll talk about it at the end, but in a different way than I have in the past, like more community outreach and things like that, which I thought was pretty cool. Actually, like putting devices down. So what I'd like to do, I put a list here, and we have people who have, I know Jade has to get to a class that got rescheduled because of the snowpocalypse, or whatever you want to call it now, polar vortex. So I'm going to let Jade go first, and then we're just going to go right down the list that I have in the agenda, and then we'll have everyone share. If you have anything you want to link in, you can. Does anyone want to use the
Probably just look at each other's
screen? Okay, I didn't know if we wanted to use the screen or not. Otherwise, everything's kind of linked on there if you want it. So go for it, Jade.
Okay, so this was my first year at High, so I have no idea that attendance was down. Like, it seemed like a big group to me. It was pretty packed at those keynote sessions. Jody was there and saved a seat, which was awesome, so that was cool.
Front row.
Yep.
Third row.
Basically, third row. It was very close to the front, so it was a little overwhelming, but that's okay. It was great. So the first day keynote was my very favorite part of it. Jamie Cassup was talking about how change happens really slowly, but then suddenly, and I feel like we're starting to see some of that in our district, so I thought that was a really relevant piece. And he had a lot of statistics that were very interesting and thought-provoking of just about students and technology and the need for including all of that, but also kind of tied in with some of that mindfulness stuff, and like people are so attached to their devices and their phones and whatnot. And I went to a session later in TIES that was about like putting the phone, were you at the same one?
I think so.
Outside and like not, yeah, trying to be in the moment and like live in the moment while you're there. And the speaker talked about how he went on like a 1-year Facebook, I don't know, hiatus, I guess. And just how many times like Facebook is trying to advertise him in different like online places to come back. And it just is really addicting for our kiddos and for adults as well.
Great.
Some big takeaways. Ashley's going to talk more about eHall Path, but that was a really cool program that I know some surrounding districts are using. As a teacher at the high school, it's on film, so I have to be careful how I say things. We sometimes have students leaving the classroom for reasons other than actually using the bathroom, and so it's really nice with eHall Path that you can see who already is out on a pass. So if Ashley is out, I'm not going to let Olivia go because I'm assuming that Ashley and Olivia are going to hang out in the bathroom. And that's one of the things that you can kind of prevent with eHall Pass, which is cool.
So that's something we need to get moving
Yeah,
on.
Like, you can see how many times the kids have been out.
Yeah.
Every single
So
day.
Ashley already went 4 times today. She probably doesn't need to go again.
Yep.
So there's a lot of interesting data that can be collected through that, and it could help solve some of the problems that we're currently experiencing that all high schools in the area, in this world, are probably experiencing right now. The Schoology session was really interesting. I am a huge Google Classroom advocate. I use it for all of my courses. I am out of the classroom quite a lot for different districts and various meetings and things. So my kids do a lot of blended learning. We do a lot of things online. So I was very against switching to Schoology initially, but they do have some cool pieces that are in the notes, like things that high school really liked, which kind of sold me a little bit more on it. So it was interesting to see what they had to offer and some of the things that they can do that Google Classroom can't. I also liked that it collaborated or talked with Skyward, which is kind of cool.
So I see a lot of you already clicked on it. That TIES sharing, that's the document I had all the coaches fill out when we got back. So that's kind of what they're going off of.
Yep, I'm just going through my slides.
Yep.
I think the best part of the conference was really the networking. Like the sessions were great, and then I got a lot of cool ideas and things from the sessions, but talking to other people either in those sessions or in our carpool, all of high school drove together. So it was really nice to be able to, actually, no, well, you were there. No, but the 3 of us from the high school who went drove together. That's what I meant. It was nice to be able to talk through some of those things and what that would look like at our building, and that was awesome. So I enjoyed the networking. I think carpooling was a big piece of that because we were able to kind of talk through the different things that we learned and process not all of the learning, but a lot of it.
Fantastic.
Can I just ask, when you said that you were slightly more sold on Schoology, like yes, you totally are there now? Or you still are, they offer different things?
I would not be upset if we switched to Schoology. It's still a transition, and I have so much on Classroom that it's a project, you know, like I'm sold on Schoology. I know we've been looking at other LMS as well, so I don't want to be 100% like, ooh, let's go Schoology, let's see what's all out there. But I did like a lot of the ways that things were set up, and like how in Schoology the rubrics are right there, and me clicking on them compiles their score versus having to do a lot of that manually. So there were a lot of little things that Google Classroom doesn't currently offer that would be nice in the long run. I do enjoy that Google Classroom is very responsive to suggestions and feedback, and I feel like it is like always being updated. So,
and we'll talk about the LMS search a little bit more at the bottom about what we're looking for. But one thing we would absolutely not do, because has been the top reason why I started pushing and why then the conversation started snowballing, was we need to have something that talks directly from Google to Skyward. So we wouldn't buy it if they said, oh, well, we're not going to do the talkback option. So it'd have to only be if whatever LMS, if we were to get one, and there's a lot of pieces that have to be put together, would actually have the talkback feature, which Schoology does, which Canvas does, where if you grade something in Google Classroom, it automatically sends the grade to Skyward for you, and you are not having to automatically enter grades manually anymore, which was probably one of the number one questions I get, like, oh yeah, you gave me this automated way to do stuff and I still have to manually enter grades. So,
which isn't the end of the world, but I think it could be cool with our POA stuff too, and looking, like, if there's a full course that's all online instead of having to have somebody who's manually, I mean, somebody's still segregated, I guess, but some of those shortcuts are really appreciated when you're doing a lot of it.
yeah. And we'll kind of talk about how the big picture is going to go in. So, yeah, just so you know, it won't be like 2 or 3 people making this decision or my input overriding any decision or Ben's or anyone's. There's a huge committee, as we know. So, awesome. Ashley, I think you're next.
All right, so my favorite session was the same speaker. I just think, kind of like Jay said, his idea that like we gotta go slow to kind of go all in is a really good way to kind of look at what we're doing with the kiddos. With the world changing all the time, that's kind of one of the things that he kept coming back to was how the world is changing so fast. We don't know what's going to be happening tomorrow, the next day. So we kind of have to go slow before we can go fast. That really resonated with me. And then, like Jade said, one of the things that we really liked was the e-hall pass, just because it's that way that we can kind of keep an eye on the kiddos. And then the other thing about that digital health and wellness, where they were talking about unplugging, the guy that was talking said that he has his phone, he said he has it on a leash. So when he gets home, he puts his phone on his leash, which is his charger, and it's not allowed to leave the leash. And so if he ever wants to be like around the house, he's not bringing his
May I
phone.
please have your attention? Bus 9 students, the bus is here now. Thank you.
He doesn't walk around his house with his phone. So as soon as the phone goes on the charger, that's where it stays for the rest of the night. He's able to go, if he needs to check it, he can go check it, but it's on that leash. And I thought that was something that was really cool, and something that I've been trying harder to do, especially with having young kids, and putting the focus more on them. And then I really liked, I was in a session called Divergent EDU, and she talked about how the word innovative is becoming very overused. And it's really important that us as teachers need to be careful about how we use certain words and overuse certain words, because we don't know what the future holds. We're just kind of assuming kind of where things are naturally going to lead. And so some of the things that we are seeing innovative might, a year or 2 years down the road be completely irrelevant. And then she talked about how the soft skills or the SEL type stuff is very important to teach the kids. Because that's not something that's ever going to go away. And I think that's a lot of what we've been hearing in a lot of our professional development stuff. Kind of the same thing with Schoology. I really liked it. I think so much of time is consumed with grading stuff on Classroom, but I think a lot of the stuff, a lot of the LMSs could potentially do that. The one thing I really liked about them is at the high school level, we brought up a lot of different questions, and they had an answer or a solution for every single one of them. And so that was a real positive for us. And then the other thing is the carpool I put on here. We decided to take the stairs up to level 10 of the parking garage. On the first night.
On purpose?
Yeah.
Well, the elevator was really
full.
little and full, and so we're like, we didn't park that far. Yeah, then we realized we're on level 10. We were probably laughing for like 20 minutes in the car afterwards.
The running was really what got us there. So not to Ty's problem.
They laughed, I
was coughing.
I was going to say, I would be
But it was quite entertaining.
going to
So that was
HCMC.
kind of great stuff too.
Awesome. All right, Brittany, did I leave you off my list?
That's okay if you only have a voice, I'm good with that.
All right, I know I looked at yours. I'm gonna put you on my list though. Is there anything you don't have to share all of it, but is there one thing that you've heard that you want to share?
One major thing that I really enjoyed was I went to a copyright session, and it was by this movie licensing company.
Oh.
And you could get one license for your building or your school that covers everything. And the only company they didn't cover was 21st Century Fox. And so every other movie you can think of, just this blanket copyright thing covers you, so you don't have to worry about getting in trouble.
When we do movie nights and stuff, which technically because we're advertising, we're super, it would be nothing for Disney to come and sue us for
Disney is super litigious.
And they do that all the time. We've just gotten really lucky on some of those PTO nights and stuff.
I just handed out today.
Yeah. So this is something that, we looked at and we're like, we really should probably get that out to the PTO or just look at a license. Cause I don't think it's very expensive either.
Yeah, I have to.
It might be worth it to avoid any. Probably would have been a gooderish. Better thing to show Julia because she had to go through the whole thing with Princeton University, and so she knows how scary it can be to have someone coming after you. But yeah, we should definitely share that with some of our places that are doing the movie nights. And
Well, is that the case even if it's smaller scale, right?
Yeah, even like Tiger Club.
I mean, if you
in
show,
our classrooms.
yeah,
people now, especially because they have Netflix, people, like if you can show it, you just, because it's on Netflix,
Right.
you can project it.
Yeah.
We break the law all the time.
well, in tech for a while there, you couldn't even use Netflix on your projector. Like they had it blocked. Because I used to do that when I'd stay late, like all the time. I would just throw Netflix up on my projector and, work in the classroom and just have stuff on, and it would stop. Like you could only have it on your screen. You couldn't.
Interesting.
You put it on your projector. And I was like, well, dang it. I'm like, well, I can't ask anyone about this because I know why they're doing it.
Right.
Like, because I'm projecting it, and that is breaking copyright.
But I think you can.
But now I think you can. I think people use Netflix all the
You
time.
can now. I've done it. I mean, I'm not proud of it.
Yeah.
I've done it.
It's not breaking copyright if you're alone in your classroom. If
If you're alone in your classroom, you're using
Right.
Netflix.
But if you
But if
haven't
I'm
had,
showing
like,
it to
30
my whole pod or all my kids in my class,
Right, if it's like you read The Giver, now you're gonna show The Giver.
Right. That's how I've used it.
Copyrighted movie.
yeah. Mhm.
So it would be a great idea for us to have that maybe at the district or schools or whatever.
Right.
I will
so
add that
Jade
to
go
our-
jail. She
Right.
needs her job.
I do. I'm
Jade
single income
needs her job.
household. I need my job.
I am the head of my income household, so I need my job too. I will add that to our district technology team.
And I think she said it's discounted if you get it per district.
Awesome.
Per district.
So that covers building, right?
Got it.
Yeah, like if you order for multiple buildings, there's a discount.
Got it.
Do you know what the name is off the top of your head?
Swink. Swink movie
Swink.
licensing.
SWANK.
Just on her slide.
So then do we have those movies that aren't covered?
Since I'm on a different screen, I'm in Google Keep. Awesome, thank you, Brittany. Michelle is gone, so we'll have first year. Oh, I think Michelle linked hers in. Actually, I'll talk about Michelle's when I talk about mine, because she and I went to the same session that I noticed after I started putting mine together, she was gonna share about. So, Carrie.
Yeah, I just lost my script. Don't know how I can get back to it. Nice.
After 3 p.m.
All right, my top takeaways were some things with Google Slides that I didn't really know that you could do that were pretty cool. And the top 25 best teaching and learning websites is put out every year by AASL. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing. Depending on what subject or what grade level or whatever, there's a lot of cool things you can look at. If you want the link to that slideshow, I have it in my Google Keep, so I can share it to you. Just email me. Pear Deck and Google Slides was probably my favorite session. That was a vocabulary kind of thing. And I came back and I did it with my kids with some of the engineering vocabulary, and they really liked it. I teach 6th grade physical science. I think it's good at any level, even high school, because they have to illustrate what it is, as well as, like, they have to pair, like they get partnered up automatically by the program, and then one of them has to write the definition and the other person has to draw what it is. And it goes together on a flashcard, and then they come in on this conveyor belt. They can see it drop down, and they have like 10 to do, or however many you put in. And then the class votes, or the teacher can choose the top ones. And then the two sides of the class are competing for the most score, and so they can see, they got pretty excited about that. So they liked it. What I enjoy most is the chance to visit with other educators that were into technology and have done other things that I haven't done. I lost myself again. I went to 3 Schoology sessions, actually. The lunch one, which I was still kind of confused after that one, but that's okay. I also went to one hosted by the Sauk Rapids Rice District Technology Coordinator. And I also went to one hosted by the technology teacher from Spectrum. And I thought hers was probably the most applicable for us teachers. It looks pretty good. But then we went to Canvas, and I thought it was kind of like Spectrum's more like a Microsoft version, and Canvas was more of a polished Mac version that was easier to use. I thought that's just from a quick overview. It just seemed like the little icons were easier to get to, and it didn't look quite as complicated. Canvas didn't.
A couple of people said that went to the Canvas one. They felt that it was a more,
Yeah, more
that it was
user-friendly. It was more Mac-like
user-friendly
than
and it looked
Microsoft.
easier to click around on. And
Yep, I thought so, but that doesn't mean that in depth it wasn't better. It just,
Yeah.
on the outside, just quickly looking at it, that was my perspective. And that's about it.
Awesome. So Brenda had an appointment, but she did Learning in the Loo, which they are also doing at the primary school. They're calling theirs Potty PD, right? Toilet tips. So this is actually a thing that's starting to kind of take off. Learning in the Loo, I think, is the first name if you kind of track down people who have been doing this. But basically what it is creating some type of cool, one sheet PD to hang up in your staff bathroom for staff to learn some quick tech tips, because really that's where you got the best audience, right? So they started this, and if you want to take a moment just to, her video is only a minute and a half. She did a really nice job of explaining like what the staff, and you can see what hers looks like. And then I think, will someone from, when we get to it, will someone from primary share what yours looks like this month? And then we can talk about it.
I have it right here.
You're
Awesome.
learning in the loop.
Yeah, so you guys, if you want to just share with a partner and watch, or just watch Brenda's video real quick.
Ours is just a colorful like newsletter that we laminated and hole punched, and we have it hung on a 3M hook.
But then they
Finish my
shared it out
paper.
digitally too, because they actually have live
So
links
you
in
can
it.
pick it up for your.
Well,
use of
it's laminated, but we're kind of hoping people just look, it's one-sided. You don't really need to flip it over.
You're supposed to
Do you want to pull up, do you want to make it louder and everyone can hear? I don't know how you guys want to do it.
It's as loud as it goes.
Yes.
Basically, it's providing an opportunity for our staff people to learn stuff while they go to the bathroom. Because staff people don't read their emails anyways, and so this is the one that I put together for January and February. So I don't know, trying to bring a little bit of humor and stuff to it too. So we've got installment for one here, Potty PD, techie tips you can learn in the loo, and then of course we have to include some
One in the toilet.
emojis.
An emoji of it, a Bitmoji of it.
Anyway, yeah, I can send this one out. We just put some wording shortcuts that people can use on here. One tab is Chrome extension that has been super helpful, and I've had lots of people contact me about using that in their classroom. I've had people who told me that they've taken this out of the bathroom and made copies of the smart here.
It's in a screen protector.
So it's been, I think, overall pretty successful, and we've got some really good feedback about it. So that is what I wanted to share.
So I just shared a link in here too to a Padlet of ideas. I would only ask, because every building is different, that you just clear it with your principal first and see how they feel about it. I think most of our principals would be pretty chill about it, and it depends on what bathrooms, but it's a really fun way to just put up some information, and it's been successful in other, districts that we've talked to about. People kind of look forward to it. We had one person who shared, and she was like, I didn't hear anything about it, and I thought, well, staff don't really want it. And then she was late putting it up one month, and staff started freaking out on her. They're like, where's the new one? Like, we've been waiting for like the new Potty PD or Learning in the Loo or whatever you want to call it. So it's kind of like those quick little tips, and yeah, so
They have it in my daughter's dorm bathroom. So the new teachers coming in are gonna be used to that.
Yep, we did it in our dorm bathrooms. We decorated our dorm bathrooms every month. That was as an RA.
Has comic strips in our bathrooms. This would be more educational.
See, that's one of the things I like about going to the high school. Is I look forward to, oh, okay, I've drinking
We
water.
also changed the little dress that's in the bathroom.
Yeah, which is creepy.
I know, I don't know. I mean, it's cute, but I'm just like, whose dress is this? Where did this come from?
And you know, who knows, maybe it'll branch out to other departments will want to do their own learning in the loop, but it's those things that we kind of talked about this at the primary meeting that they may have heard like 5 or 6 times, but have completely forgotten about. And now, oh yeah, there is that shortcut here. So that's why we talked about even going from really simple, basic things to more advanced things. And then I think Nicole brought it up or someone of like, well, now you know which coach to go talk to because that's the coach that's highlighted. So now you have like, this coach is really good at, you know, like Rachel's really good at using Apple Classroom, so go talk to her about Apple Classroom or go talk to Nicole about whatever she put on there. I can't remember, sorry. Yes. Awesome. All right, Nikki.
It was my first time going. So parking was interesting, but I figured it out. I met a lot of other confused people in the office.
That's why I sleep down there.
I really liked the opening speaker. I liked when he said, instead of asking a child what they want to be when they grow up, ask them what problem they'd like to solve. How would they solve it? And what are the tools of the training they would need to solve the problem? Because a lot of what he said, you know, focused on the fact that a lot of the things that kids will do not exist. And I just thought that was really neat, especially when I went home that night and talked to my own girls. I think a lot of times there's just so much, especially the way he talked about the grocery store. I remember that. He said it would be a completely different experience. And I thought, isn't that interesting? You know, people get upset about, oh, they're getting rid of cashiers and, oh my gosh, all those people won't have their jobs. And I thought, but if it's opening the door to a bunch of other things, why wouldn't they want to do something else? I was a cashier in high school. I hated it. It's a mindless job to stand there and do that. So wouldn't you want to feel like your job is, I don't know. I thought that was very interesting when he said that. And I like seeing people that I don't normally get to see and catching up with people. The takeaways, I pulled off at Jody's when she got her really cool lanyard from school phone. So I went down and talked to the lady so I could get my little lanyard that plugs in with my phone to my computer. But I actually did like the headphones. That's been a problem now that we're at 1-to-1 in most of the grades. The ones that we get are super cheap. They're breaking all the time. And wanting to help teachers bring some of these things in their classroom, a lot of it does require headphones because you can't have 25 iPads all watching a read-along story at once. You can't. But then what about those kids who don't have the headphones? So anyway, she showed them to me, and she talked about how, like, if they break, they'll replace them for free. And they're about a couple dollars more expensive than what we're buying now. So the ones we're buying now are $5. I think she said they were like $7 or $8. And I was like, yeah. And I thought in the long run, yeah. And they'll replace them for free. So I thought I would maybe look more into that. And she said that I asked her, I said, will these spread lights or will they, you know,
valid question.
Yeah, and she said, they even send a bag and everything. So it's something worth looking into, especially with all the irritations with something that shouldn't be a hurdle to getting kids and especially classroom teachers to use things. The first thing on their mouth is, well, they don't have that phone. Like, okay, that shouldn't be a deterrent. What can we do to get past that so you will bring some more of these things into your classroom? And then I just, the sharing, I mean, I told Brenda I'd help her with the Lou PD that she wanted to do. She helped me make my Bitmoji, and so I sent her a picture of me on the toilet with my Bitmoji. She randomly asked all of us to send it to her one night, and some people are like, why? I'm like, here you go. I didn't even ask.
So it was a Bitmoji on the toilet.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, not me actually.
No, I'm picturing you on the toilet with your Bitmoji. I'm like, this is the most bizarre thing I've ever heard.
I'm pretty sure right there, lots of people losing their job.
Right.
No.
Ready to force.
Then we need to have a conversation.
And the other thing was, the favorite session I went to was how do we access creativity? That was a tricky one because it was how do you assess those things and how do you make sure that the kid is the one doing the assessing, especially when it's something that they need to build off of, because it can be so subjective. But there are a lot of good ideas at least started in that conversation, that direction. How can we get better at? Because really that's a lot of what we heard even when we did our job crawl, was that the kids need to be good problem solvers. Kids need to be creative. They need to, okay, well, how do we as teachers get them ready for that? How do we assess it on a genuine level where they're ready to go back and try again and not just give up? How do we do that?
Awesome.
Rachel.
One of my actually favorites was the Promethean escape room. I'm not sure if anyone else actually did that, but it was really fun. Yes, you did that with me. It was really fun just kind of working together, and I don't know, minus the one girl not from our district that was a little bit nuts.
There was like there was this other guy.
She needed to just be done.
Yes, she was a little bit nuts.
She needed to stop yelling at people.
Yeah.
You don't know who you're getting.
Yeah. You're playing a game.
Yes. Well, it stemmed from that actually. Over Christmas break, I was meeting with my college girlfriends, and we actually went to the one in Elk River. So I was like, oh, I did one of these.
Did you like the Elk River one?
Well, apparently we picked the hardest room, and it was frustrating.
Which one did you do?
The someone's, oh, I can't even remember it. The one that looked like Saw on the inside.
Oh,
and they were
okay.
like, it was really.
Because we've done one there too, and but it wasn't that one. It was like there's beakers and stuff all over. And
Yeah. No, apparently we picked very difficult.
we got out, but we needed hints.
We did not get out, and we got lots of hints. And they said only one group's ever escaped that room. And I was like, oh,
Now I want to go.
Yeah.
okay. I'll tell you what it is.
I liked how they did it as more, because I love doing breakouts, but the way they set it up was more of like a whole group. I don't know, it's just a different experience. It was really cool. And it made me want to buy Promethean boards instead of smart boards.
It was, honestly, it was so much fun. And the way they incorporated the technology piece of, like, they had, you had to read all the emails, and you had to read them in certain order, and you had to do, what was it? We had to watch on that little Google goggle thing and watch a video, and I don't know, it was, oh, and then we had to do the little, what are they called? Little guy, we had
to do little bits.
Thank you.
Which I would have never thought to incorporate, which we have, but you actually had to use the little bits and use them as like, you drove the car with a magnet on it. And so when I saw them, I'm like, oh, I'm assuming we're gonna do it this way. And they're like, no, you drive the car in there, and because there's a magnet on the car, it picks up
the key.
Because the key was in the middle of this box, and if you can't pick up the box, you have to pretend it's bolted to the floor, but the hotel won't let us do that, so you can't. And you can't put your hand in any way. So you had to like literally drive the car in. There's an app on the phone. I'm like, we have these in our district. I didn't even know we could do that. Like, we could have kids doing this. This is amazing. So that was very cool.
So the one I went to in Elk River, if you wanted to know, was Yuri's Revenge.
Ooh.
It was really hard.
Okay.
Don't do that one. But then we, my links all got, I forgot Leslie, I went to Leslie Fisher. I don't know if I'm going to send to her, but she's awesome.
Yeah.
And all her stuff, like you have to download it on your computer. Otherwise, like her thing, after it's done being live, you can't access it. So like random people can't look at it. So I have it linked and it says it was linked, but it obviously got, Yes, but I have a bunch of stuff downloaded on my computer from her. But one of the things I've actually been using that she taught me about was Classroom Screen. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it. It's just like something I keep up on my smartboard, and it has a timer on it. It has like random name picker on it. It has a stop. Site according to Twitter is down right now. I'm looking it up, but you can try it. But Twitter.
Follow her on Facebook and Twitter. She is amazing. Leslie Fisher is fantastic. And if you go to her gadgets class, you'll walk away like, oh, I should spend a whole.
Yeah, you'll just wish she made as much money as she makes so that she could consider.
Or that people give you all the free stuff she gets.
Well, actually, the session I went to was tools you can use tomorrow, so everything was free.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the pieces of website she gave us, you have to buy it to get like more access, but everything she told us about was free, so it was really nice. But the Classroom Screen, the last thing I want to say about it, when the website comes back up, it has like an exit poll, and you can, like, the kids can go on the smartboard and do different things, like depending on what question you ask. So.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
It's a really awesome.
I would add on to hers that she showed us at the end of the day is, and she is a huge Google person. but she said Microsoft Translate is
Yes.
way better than Google. And we started using it, and I have to agree. So we've actually shared it with, we have a new student who absolutely speaks no English, and so they've been using it with the student, and it works tremendously. One of the great things is she used it when she was in Japan, but you can have it like this, and it splits the screen, so you have it, the person who's speaking the other language over here, and you're here, and it immediately translates the conversation. So you're seeing it in your language, they're seeing it in theirs, and it's continuous.
I think it was like did any of you watch the Super Bowl? It was the several of their.
Probably, yep, and if you take, I don't do sports ball, so, if you open up the app, I don't think you have anything here written in Spanish, but if you take a picture of it, it immediately translates the picture for you. It's the coolest thing.
That's
It's,
cool.
yeah, I
You
kind
see,
of,
Google came out with little, like, ear pods that translate as people talk.
as you're going, yeah, she goes, this is the only time I will tell you Microsoft is better than Google, is with this Translate app. And because Brenda was with this new student they were really struggling in technology class, trying to speak with her and get her going and stuff. And then they started using this, and it's made all the difference in the world. So, awesome. Miss Nicole.
Can I be trouble and plug into the screen?
Yes, please. Or Nicole had to go to an IEP.
You have to.
Oh, you gotta go back there. Someday when we have Apple TVs, we'll be able to just connect wherever we are. Dreaming.
Getting Apple TV.
I would love to get Apple TVs.
I think Thor has one.
Wouldn't that be nice? You can just connect wherever you are. Just like say, click Apple TV. You can be sitting right there and you can connect to the screen. Your students could connect to the screen. But they're expensive. But we do have a grant written for one right now for some of them.
Anybody?
Alright, so I just made a quick little, I went to a bunch of Google ones, I kind of got, I don't know, if you're a Google superstar, you're probably gonna know everything you're gonna say, but I just picked out my favorite Google things that I liked, and I made a little slideshow I put right here, but basically the fun things that I take away and I'll use quite a bit are Google Keep. So if you've never heard of Google Keep, it is basically a digital post-it thing that is in your drive, and then it can connect to your phone. So like, I can't see that because that's a little small, but if I open up my Keep, I can have this on my phone and I can make lists. I can have my groceries, you can do check boxes, and it's super easy just to add, delete, your to-do list. Just, I don't know, I love it.
You can open it up in your email.
Yep. You can also quickly, I mean, I'm still learning like the amazing things that it can do. You can, if you find a video or website that you like, you can push keep and it'll keep the website. Right up here I have a Google extension right there. So whatever you're on, you can say save to keep and it'll save it to keep. It's something definitely worth checking out if you've never looked at Keep. Other thing was, I'm learning more about using Google search. So for like, not that one. Sorry, I'm all over there. So if you search cheetah, and then you go to and go to settings, tools, you can change the size, you can change the color. So if for some reason you wanted a blue cheetah, there's all the pictures of the blue cheetahs. User rights. So if you're putting something up, you want to make sure that you can use it. You can check and it'll only show you the ones that are available. Type if you want clip art or photo, time. So there's lots of cool things here. So if you've never looked in the tools section, that's pretty cool. Made with Code. Google has a Made with Code Google site that has pre-made things for kids. These are projects pre-made where you can go in and like this garden robot I was doing with my kids the other night. And you just click on it and you have to drag the actions over. This is what we were doing last night. And then see if it will fill the pot. So it's just something to kind of play with, but it's called Google Code.
Fun.
Made with Code.
I've never seen that one.
And then if you haven't, I'm sure you've done Google extensions, but if you haven't dipped into the Google extensions, these are some of them that I use quite a bit. when you go into the Google extensions in the Chrome store and you add them, they're gonna go right up here on the top. These are the ones I love to use. For home, if you've never downloaded Honey extension, you absolutely have to. So what it does is, when you online shop, up on top where your Google extensions are, there's gonna be the Honey icon. And whenever you're ready to check out, you click on the Honey and it will search and type everywhere on the internet for every code there is out there, and it'll save you money. So like when I go to Walgreens and I print pictures, you think you only have like free shipping with free ship or whatever. Honey will search everywhere and they'll say, just kidding, we saved you $12 more with this random code we found, and it'll automatically just put it in for you. So it's pretty awesome. So you need Honey.
Hey.
Let's see. There's a Google Tour Builder, which I have not played around with, but in one of my Google sessions, they talked about this. If you're looking for a virtual field trip, I think it's worth checking out.
Got the coolest idea about this.
And then Google Support. This is kind of interesting. I didn't even know this existed. You literally go to Google support.google, and you can click, and if you have questions about certain things, you can click on like your Gmail, and it'll have like the top questions about how to do it with the answers. Or you can just like type it in, and Google will help you about specific Google things. So, like I said, I'm not going to go in depth because a lot of you probably know these things, but those were the kind of the top Google things I thought were pretty cool.
Very cool. Thank you, Nicole.
Here's back at the number of times that people come to you for help, and you say, well, just a second, let me Google. And then you tell them, oh, we go like this.
My
How did I
favorite,
not think that I should just Google?
my favorite meme is the one that says, I'm not better at technology than you, I'm just better at Google than you are. Because I really feel like that's 90% of the time, it's just I'm better at looking it up. Or maybe I have the time, I don't know.
Yeah, or you thought you were saving time walking down here and asking me.
Tanya, you're up, lady.
In my slide, what will I present? I have used View Pure almost every single day. Almost every single day. It just takes out all the junk around your videos. You just put the link in, your YouTube link in, and push Purify, and it just takes anything out from around the outside edges. So I highly recommend that. And what else are people using for
Save YouTube?
Save YouTube. See, I've tried Save YouTube before too, but View Pure is basically the same thing.
Do you have to do View Pure after the fact though? Like, cause I can put my link into Safe YouTube, then post the Safe YouTube link on the Google Classroom. Then when the kids link to it, to their YouTube, it already has none of that there?
This does the same
Same
thing.
thing, so it's not even after the fact?
No, I purify it, then I copy that link, and then I can send it to whoever I want, and it's purified wherever I send it.
It's kind of weird.
And that's linked into the slideshow?
You know what I mean? But
To the TIES
they
slideshow?
want to make money, that they let you.
Is it linked into the TIES
Yes.
slideshow? Okay, awesome.
My computer just ran out of power. But
Oh, that's all good. View Pure. Yes,
View
it
Pure.
is. Awesome.
Yep, and then you can, I put a little picture of what it looks like. You just paste your link in and
Cool.
yeah. And then I put a couple other things on there. The Citable, I'm sure everyone has their own little citing little tips, but Citable was one that I found really easy for younger kids to use. So, and that's an extension, so that whatever website you're on or wherever you're looking, you can click on the Citable and it'll get you what you need. And then the third thing was, does anyone use the Smart app on their iPad? No? Okay, so there is a Smart Notebook app so that you can walk around the room and you can do everything you need on your smartboard from your iPad. So it makes it easy for, walking about or.
Like you can control the smartboard from
Yeah.
your iPad?
Yep.
Without
Yep. So you can have your slideshow, Smart Notebook slideshow open on here, and you can go to the next screen, and so that's.
We need to share that with primary and intermediate. So I didn't know about that. The new?
There are two apps. One.
Does it work on all the iPads though, or is it just the new one?
Just the new, you can't even download it on anything middle school of.
Because that's probably, so it's not gonna work on every iPad it will work on all the new teacher iPads at primary. Because all the teachers at primary have a newer iPad. So it should work on all theirs.
So you can walk around the room and you can have, you know, students do things right from your iPad or up there and.
So let's share that with all the teachers at primary, and then let's share that with all the teachers at third grade. Because that would be awesome. Cool.
So those were my 3 biggies.
Thank you. Keep going to the wrong screen. Okay, Kayla.
So this was my first time going, and I really enjoyed it. One of the things I liked was also from the first keynote speaker, like, we always, I believe obviously in a balance of like when time put the devices away and times that you need it, but like also embrace the change because so many people are so afraid of it. They're not embracing it either. Is one of the things you said. Like, just because you didn't grow up with it doesn't mean it's bad. I don't know. It's just one thing when I'm working with people that refuse to even learn. I'm just, yeah, trying to incorporate that into it. I loved all the playgrounds, poster sessions, and being able to like walk around and roam and play around. The escape room was really fun as well. I kept my cool with that lady. She yelled at me that one time.
I know. And
Yeah.
it's like, knock it off. I was about to get Mama Bear on her. Like,
Yeah.
we're trying.
I bit my tongue pretty hard. Schoology, I attended the session. Being in preschool is a little different because we don't have to enter grades or anything like that, but it'd be nice to start everything and be all connected throughout the building. And so the one takeaway I had too was the Center for Interactive Learning and Collaboration. You can sign up and be a free member, and it's a bunch of virtual field trips, and there's a lot of free ones on there. I've yet to get mine yet because we missed a lot of school. And so I haven't done mine yet. I was gonna do it last week, but we haven't been here, so I haven't actually done one yet, but there's a lot of field trips. There's some that you need that do cost money, but there's a lot of free ones that are really cool. And it's like use Zoom, so it's basically similar to like Skyping into a place and doing a virtual field trip, but use Zoom. So I'm excited to try it.
They're amazing. We've done a couple of them, and
Yeah.
it's a big thing that ECMEC tries to push, and they kind of, oh, we can come out and do it. And they really don't need to come do it with us anymore because we would basically use this webcam instead of your laptop webcam. We would just hook this one up, and that's all you need. And then, because it's got the speaker on it, and then you just download Zoom and you connect and you put it up on the smartboard, and then if it's live, so you're asking questions. Sometimes like we did one where we were at a dig. So it was a museum out in Arizona, and they were actually doing a dinosaur dig. So we were there, and we got to talk to the paleontologists while they were doing it, and the kids got to ask questions and things like that. There's tons of them for preschool through high school, any subject you can think of. So it's a really great way to take kids where literally places they can't go and have some pretty cool conversations. Denver Museum does a ton of them. Awesome. So the one that Michelle was going to share about that I went to and really hit home for me because I have a teenager dealing with this right now is the plugged into effects of social media and screen time, which I think we know obviously is a big effect on our students, but they really talked about how the depression and how really just the addiction is so strong for kids, like Snapchat streaks, and how they just get addicted to, they have to keep their streaks going, and this is a big deal. We had to ground my stepdaughter from her phone, and that was like her huge panic, was not losing her phone, but someone has to maintain my streaks. I can't, like freaking out. And we're like, this is what you care about? Not that you got a D in a class and you're a smart kid. So this, I put in her presentation here because there's some really good tips on here, things to share out. There's also two really good videos that we won't take time to watch right now, but if you click on the slideshow, there's a really good video. It talks a lot about how actually adults are using it more than students. And it's really the parents. And we've even talked about this at the preschool, how we're seeing preschoolers coming into the preschool now like this. And so it really hit me hard of like, I feel it's part of my role as the tech integration specialist that I need to start doing more community outreach. And so with this, and then going to that, who was talking about this? Oh, Jade and Ashley and I went to go see the guy from Minnetonka. So the one down here, Technology, Health, and Wellness. And he was talking about the movie Screenagers. And Screenagers is a movie you can get to come to your community and watch it. And it's all about the effects of social media and screen time on kids. And so I was reading about it, and I'm like, I want to bring this here. I want to open up this dialogue. I want parents to start seeing the difference between educational screen time and entertainment screen time and how we have to change that. Well, then I found out through a bunch of conversations that it's coming to Princeton. I just never knew about it. And it's not being promoted very well, unfortunately. So we're, I know.
But
So
not with families. We're
No.
seeing it during the school day, which is different.
but they are showing it at night. Because when you show it, you're supposed to have a family event. So
Do you think we are?
they are.
Okay.
They're showing it, and then they're doing a dinner, and then they're showing it again. So they're showing it at 4 o'clock that night. They're having a dinner at the PAC, and then they're showing it again at 6.
Have you seen any advertising?
No, I heard about this through a parent concern that came through me, like that came to me from a secretary or from Joan. And then she mentioned, I'm like, wait, Screenagers is coming? I like literally this is on my agenda to talk to Ben about. And she goes, oh yeah, it's coming and people are gonna get mad about it. I'm like, no, this is good. Let's spin this good. Let's open the communication. And so it went from, I mean, literally an email chain of 5 people till I finally found out that Gwen was the contact, and even she doesn't know anything about it. It's the county is sponsoring it. Because you have to pay to do it.
Right.
And then normally you charge people or you get businesses to pay for it. So I guess the county's paying for it. I don't know. So I'm hoping to get in touch with the county person tomorrow and do a whole lot more promotion. I don't.
Are we not allowed to promote it ourselves because we're
No,
not?
we can and we should be. I mean, I'm a little concerned that they're watching it during the day and not doing anything with
Because
it.
why would you convince? Well, I don't know that we're gonna not do anything with it.
Yeah,
I think
but
that
no
until
one
we see
seems
it,
to know
nobody knows what
anything
it's
about it.
But it's sort of like those other speakers, you know, when the speaker comes during the day, how many kids then want to come back again
Right.
if they've already seen it, especially if at school, they feel like, this isn't a message I want my mom to hear.
Right. And it really is
So we gotta tell the
an
parents.
amazing message about, and I think it gets, because I think where there's some concern is that, well, now they're going to be mad at us for giving them devices. I'm like, but literally the research shows educational screen time isn't a negative thing. It's entertainment screen time that's the bad thing. So we just need to keep with that line of that. We need to separate what they're using it for. And it's really more the social media thing that this focuses on and how negative that is because of the things they do and they talk and they.
So do we get a chance to preview it? Is someone gonna?
No.
bring something up
So what
to
I'm
it,
gonna,
or-
when I talked to the tech integration specialist before I found out it was coming, that have done this before, one person said he pushed and pushed and was finally able to get a preview of it himself. But like they only gave him access for 3 days and it was like only because they were already showing it in their district. So I'm gonna try. And then I'm
Just have
gonna.
Some kind of questionnaire for kids to fill out.
Right, or something, or how do they do it? I mean, I don't want to like say it's bad or, because I've never seen it. I just want to support it and make it a really good thing, because I'm excited.
Yeah. It's
February
coming
21st.
Yeah. Pretty fast.
So it'll be shown at the middle school to all 3 grades, and then it'll be that night. So I'm gonna do everything I can to promote the heck out of it. And I've been trying to do on Tuesdays, I do a Tech Tip Tuesday on the Facebook page, and I've been trying to promote a little bit of like, doing a contract with your kid. So I actually used the Screenagers screen contract. That's what I put up last week. And then on our website, I now have a part of our website. So we used to have like parent resources for technology. It's now just a screen time resources. So it's
newspaper, have you contacted them? They'll write up.
Yep.
Put that in the bar.
definitely.
Jody, also the 21st, there's no school at primary or intermediate, so it might be a good idea to push to those parents.
Yep. To come see it that
To come
night.
see it.
Yes. Absolutely.
Are you part of the Princeton Bulletin Board on Facebook?
Yes.
So could you put something out there?
Yep.
And can't we set it up in Skylar?
Yep. Oh, yeah, we're
Every
gonna do
parent
a
gets one. I
Skylar.
mean, it comes to your inbox.
Yep.
Rather than you have to go out and find it.
Yep. And they,
Put it right under a school closing.
so if you go to like the instructional technology now, there's a screen time and parent, I don't remember what I called it, but I've been putting links in there of like contracts parents can do and just advice for parents, because I know it's already come through the intermediate school that, like John mentioned, they were asking about it in his weekly update and things like that. So I'm trying to put a positive spin on it, so as
I want you to
coaches.
post on the snow days.
Yeah, exactly, create.
Post something that you created rather than just
Exactly.
you sat and watched for 3 days while you were home.
Yeah, instead of playing Fortnite, go out and make your own Fortnite. I mean, come on, play. Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff I'm trying. So, I know. Well, that was, winding it all up, that was my big takeaway from TIES, was just reaching out to the community more and doing more education for our families. Because I think they're overwhelmed and they don't know really, they see everyone else doing it, or they see that we're promoting technology, so they think that we expect their kids to be on technology, and there really is a difference between us using it for educational use and just having kids on it constantly.
Or just, how about look at the screen that your kid is looking at?
Right. Talk to them about what they're looking at.
They're leaving me alone.
That you're still the parent when you get home. And I mean, we watched some great videos with, I don't know, what grade did I have today? I teach.
That was
Tanya
first
Kai.
grade.
First grade today. And you know what the first thing is, when we watched the first video, we watched a 1.5-minute video from Common Sense Media on the internet. And it was just like, what is the internet? It was all these little kids talking about it. And the first thing they said when the video stopped, they said, but you have to be safe. They said, kids can go on the internet, but you have to be safe. And I'm like, kiss you, yes, I won't, because it's inappropriate. Yes. You have to be safe. Like, they know it, but that conversation.
But then they become 12.
Exactly.
And then they go brain dead.
Oh. But we also had a good conversation. I said, you have to ask permission. And one of the kids said, what if it's my tablet? And I go, I am so glad you asked permission. You still have to ask permission because you don't know what your screen time allowance is.
And I always tell them, it doesn't matter if you ask before breakfast on a snow day, and they said yes. After breakfast, you still have to ask again.
Yep. And her eyes were just like, oh, okay. Okay, so that's the TIES wrap up. I linked in both presentations, the technology, health, and wellness. I took a lot away from that. I turned off pretty much all notifications on my phone, so I don't see how many emails I have anymore. The only notifications I have are Google Hangouts. So if you're trying to get a hold of me during the day, send me a Hangout message. That's usually the fastest way, or a Facebook message, because those ping through. But otherwise, I've turned off a lot of my notifications, like all my social media notifications are shut off, and I've picked up my phone a lot less, which has been very nice. Been good. So I want to talk about a couple other things. Meetings with teachers. I know for some this is going super well, and for some it's going okay. We talked at all of our building meetings about making sure that you're obviously checking off that you're meeting with teachers, but also please just put a little note about what you're meeting with them about. It doesn't have to be like a paragraph, but I just want to know, and this is why, and I put down on the notes here, importance is as we get to the end of the year, all of the coordinators, so myself, tech coach coordinator, Jade, who's the teacher coach coordinator, data coach coordinator, we're all getting ready to start looking at the whole program of ATPPS and deciding, are we using all these programs in the best way? And so we really have to look at, like, are the tech coaches being used in the best way? Is there a different way we should be using the tech coaches? Are all of our staff mainly using, like, the media people because that's who's available, or that's just who they think are their tech people, or are staff only using tech coaches for IT things, or are they using them for instructional technology great ideas? It's not good, bad, or indifferent. I just want to know how they're being used, so as we go to evaluate the program, we can make some decisions. Does that make sense? Questions, thoughts, comments? The biggest goal of instructional technology in our district, as I so I've been really looking at my job role as things have been pretty crazy this year, is that every staff member in our district is supposed to be increasing their use of technology. And because we have one person technically in the Department of Instructional Technology, really, it's really easy for staff who don't feel like it to hide and not use it, right? I mean, it's super easy for that to happen because we don't have a way of getting them checked in. So I think one way we thought about getting to them was having these staff check-in meetings with tech coaches. But you're finding when you go to check in with them, they're not wanting to check in with you either, or we're not finding things to talk with them about, and we're still getting pushback. So I'm just curious of, like, what do you think we're doing really well, and what do you, sorry, I gotta back up here. All my thoughts are going right now. The goal of technology in Princeton, every teacher has the tech they need to teach and uses it. Every student has the tech they need to learn and has support to use it. What are we doing really well to support that? And what could we be doing better? Even if it's like, we could be doing this, but we don't have the money to do it or whatever. Like, what are your, just showing at me. I don't see it.
I think when we've shown things, like this last time, before I started to check people off, I tried to jump in and say, here's some things that I do that I'd be happy to show you. If you want, I will come to you and show it to you. And I tried to say, this is why it's a time saver. This is why it works really well. I'll even set it up for you, that kind of thing to kind of
coming with an idea already.
Yes, and say, here, you can, these are just off the top of my head. Here's some things that have saved me a ton of time this year and are super easy. I tried to use words like little to no prep, super easy to put in, things like that. That seemed to help with some of the resistance for what I'm doing. A lot of them get a little panicky when something changes for what they feel like is the umpteenth time, and they are frustrated. They're like, I loaded it all in and now it's gone. I have to do it again. So I've been trying to say, I will come in and do it for you if you will then try to use it. I've been trying to kind of say, if I come in and do this for you and reset this with your kids, will you try it? Will you do it if I take care of the problem on the front end? And they're more willing to try it. A lot of them will say, I don't want to do it again. I already did it, didn't work. Well, what if I reset it for you? I'll come in, I'll reset. Your kids will be all set to go. Will you use it? Okay. Because then they really don't have an excuse not to try if we know it's been set up.
I think people's complaints are a lot of times time. And I've heard a lot of positive feedback, and people are asking, when can we have another technology PD day? When they got to go get what they needed and had time to create it or work with it or play with it. And so I feel like the biggest complaint is people are like, I'd like to do this stuff, but the time. And we hear that all the time.
Mm-hmm. So when we did so you're saying that technology PD day was something that really worked. Yeah. And did you find that, because I know that day that people jumped in and did it, did they come find you afterwards too? And say hey, Nicole, I know you taught this class on, Google Slides or whatever, and then came to.
Yeah, because a lot of people that came to ours, we did Smart Notebook, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
They were people in our building, and they had time to create and play, and so they felt successful, and then they were able to do it without us there.
Right.
Maybe check in if they needed us, because we were right there when they were practicing.
Exactly. That time piece of, we're going to do staff development, then we give them time afterwards.
In one afternoon with 2 sessions, I think Carrie almost single-handedly was able to convert our entire building to almost 100% Google Classroom. Yeah. Because they all knew it, they all knew it was there. We were using it for little tidbits in TA, but they just needed to actually
have time to play and some of them help with
so having dedicated time on one.
I think we do a great job of sharing out.
Yep.
But the reality of a teacher's work year is you can already be here till 5 or 6, doing just the things you need to do for your job, that to then decide you're going to take extra time to go out hunting for things. Even just to look through all of the things that we know. Just click on Jody's site, there's 5 more. But it's not necessarily going to be something I'm looking for right now.
Yeah.
And they don't ever want to use the tool. I don't either. Or learn it until I have a need for it.
Exactly.
So when you say it's well, that's all of the sessions that you guys picked at ties, you picked what you thought, I'll take this and I'll use it tomorrow. If you thought that looks cool, but that would just be for fun, I'm not gonna teach coding. Why would you go to the code? Like you pick what works and then you have the time to use it. And I know that we can't say time, but I think time.
No, but we can, because maybe we need to do this differently. Maybe we have the opportunity to change. You know, the end of the year is coming. Maybe we have to look at how we use tech coaches differently when we come to next year of, you know, maybe meeting with staff 3 times a year isn't the best use of tech coaches. Maybe there's a different way to meet the true needs of staff to get all, because like you're saying, like I hold up the middle school all the time is like, everyone at the middle school uses Google Classroom. And one of the biggest reasons is because of you used it already in advisory or whatever you guys call it.
Right, we had used it in things.
And then you guys dedicated time to make everyone learn it. And if we can do stuff like that, where we say, okay, we're gonna say everyone has to use it for this class that everyone teaches, and then we're gonna dedicate time. I mean, we'd have to do that if we did an LMS. We'd have to say.
If you go to Schoology.
We'd have to. And we'd have to set very clear, this is how it's gonna be used in this building, and this is how it's gonna be used in this building. We can't have pockets of, well, my one teacher used it, and then this teacher didn't, and this parent is used to that, and this parent's used to that. But that's where I need ideas, because
Maybe it's as simple as our staff development days, just writing off, okay, 1 hour or 2 hours on every staff development day is going to be a technology choice.
I mean, I'm not trying to criticize the staff.
No, it's not criticizing.
No, but we were all together in the morning. We had an hour and a half to do that target to task. Okay, no, it was just the high school and the middle school, right? You guys were you at that? You had
primary wasn't, because they had already had it.
You were at a different train, right? But things like that, I feel like sometimes we have so many different directions, and it's easy for everything to be good, but when you walk away, even that, yep, that was good, but that was easy to walk away from and go, okay, they didn't tell me anything I have to do with this for right now, so I'm gonna move on to something different. And I feel like that's what, we can put it in the weekly notes, we can put it in the toilet tips, we can put it anywhere, but it only happens right now when you need it. Everything in Google Classroom, I don't think we have in the middle school a reluctant teacher. There's not a person on our list who will say, not gonna be, don't wanna do it. It's until they have the need.
Right.
Like, so you can show me.
But that's happening, right? So when people have the need, do you feel like people are coming to you and like, I have a need to do something? I mean,
it's like you said, solve the problem.
So I hear middle school
saying that. If they come to you with a problem and you can give them the
people feel
technology solution.
But is it just IT or is it like instructional technology?
Some of it's IT.
Which isn't bad, but I want to know, like, are people coming to you to like do the really cool instructional technology things that you guys are kind of experts in? Or are they coming to you because my camera won't turn on again and I need it right now?
I'd say 95% of my questions are IT.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm just Googling it if I don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think.
Like you're the buffer before they come to me, or you agree?
Yep.
I feel like
more.
Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Like a lot of times through teacher coaching, I'm able to bring some things up for people.
Right.
Like Angel was doing some kind of an assessment, and she's like, I have to close it, and then this and this and this. And I said, have you thought about doing it on the Google form? She said, but it's essay. And I said, you can still do it on the Google form and have the spreadsheet come up, and you answer the way you want and highlight it, freeze it at the top. And then you can go through and correct them really easily and then put your score on the end. She said, really? So
you're kind of combining both your skills as like a teacher coach and.
Right. And I showed her how to do it, and I did that with Eric Torkelson as well, because you can't all do multiple choice. It would be great, but it doesn't assess everything that you want to, and doesn't get to the levels that you want. But I showed them how to use the Google form and open it in spreadsheet and do that correcting that way. All of them are there. You can sort them by hour. You sort each hour by, alphabetical last name, and then you just have your screen up there of what the answers are. And a lot of times, some of them are the check boxes versus the write out a full paragraph thing. The check boxes are in order, so it'll list it in order. If it fits the form that you have on your answer because you checked them out, it'll be right. You don't even have to read them all.
Right.
Just see, okay, it says of, then. Good, that was right. they got that point. You know, I mean, you don't have to.
Go through.
Right.
Exactly.
And so I showed them kind of a quick way to grade those essays that way. And, you know, that's something I could do during a PD.
Well, and maybe that goes to, is it more of a, something as we're doing instructional type coaching with a technology focus? I mean, as you think of tech coaching this year, what are your wins? What are your things that you feel in your building are going really well as tech coaches? That you think, yep, we rock. This is why tech coaching is a positive in our building. And Libby, you got to represent all high school. Sorry.
Probably not the good school to start with.
No.
Probably not.
Do you want to share like what changes or ideas you have for? I'm open to either.
Well, I really have to think about it more than just right now. At the high school, I feel like we face more negativity with the staff in the building than maybe in other schools where there's just some other issues going on that are making people upset about things in general. And so for me to meet with people, it's like a disaster zone because they don't want to take any time out of their prep to meet with me.
To learn something new.
Right. And you know, I mean, we just have different things in our building. Like I don't have a smart board. Nobody in my department has a smart board.
Except for Scott.
Right, he just got it too. So we just don't have like the resources that other schools have too. So I think that also, you know, I don't have ways to help people with that kind of stuff because I don't have that technology. Jade does. Some teachers do at the high school, Fairmont don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that we'll ever get them, and I'm fine without it. I can make do with just my projector, but I think that we just have like different needs at the high school, and people don't want to take time to try to figure out how to.
Do you think there's a need at the high school for like working with student devices? Like staff need more ideas for doing that?
Well, I think that comes down to time too. I think that we do need more direct instruction with students about how to use their Chromebooks and how to do, I mean, I have kids at the high school who don't really know how to do basic things like Google Docs and stuff. Or even classrooms, some of them still get confused about how to turn things in, and it's not, I mean, it's something they've been doing in a lot of the classes at the high school, and I'm assuming at other levels too. And
it's probably, the kids that are pretty with it are your.
I feel like they should be though, at the high
They should
school,
be
'cause
by now.
I mean, a lot of us.
Either they
are
get confused or they just say.
Well, that is a very real possibility, and kids will, you know, tell their parents, oh yeah, I turned this in, and then I get angry calls and emails, and why haven't you graded? They literally haven't turned this in.
Yeah.
I can show you this. Well, it turns out they had done it, they just didn't turn it in. Just that kind of stuff that is just still, I don't know, and I haven't figured out a way as a teacher to deal with that other than an individual basis when it's coming up. We're still having kids that aren't showing up with Chromebooks like every day. They don't have them charged. I don't think there's any sort of consistency at the high school about what we're doing about that when there isn't those expectations being followed, because I think that everyone doesn't really know how to deal with that. Like, do we write them up for this? It seems like a silly thing to write a kid up for, but at the same time,
I don't think so. They're not prepared for class.
Right. Well, but I think the thing is, I've said something like that, and someone said, well, what do you do when a kid doesn't bring a pencil to class? You give them a pencil and you move on. And it's not that
they can't
easy.
afford pencils. Pencils don't cost $250.
Right. Well, that's, I don't know. So I think we just, like, as a teaching staff, we just need to have time to even talk about these issues. And PBIS, we're trying to deal with some of what we see as big issues. And that's one thing that I have brought to the table, is talking about the Chromebook thing, because I talk to almost every teacher at the high school.
So mostly upperclassmen that are doing well. Or
Amy and Brittany and, sorry, I didn't mean to leave you guys out of that. Do you guys feel like it needs to be a staff, like a building buy-in to the technology? And this is my, like, always my guess, is because it took so long for that building to go one-to-one. Do you think that's part of the problem? You know what I mean? Because like middle school went one-to-one really fast.
I think we have some curmudgeons that are still using stuff that predates.
Yeah.
What's that machine? It's a machine that's never even been used since I was in school. Yeah. We still have people using copies from that.
Yeah.
That I have not changed their curriculum in decades. So for those sorts of people, I don't think they want to use technology because why bother? I have this thing and I already, everything's canned. You have a quiz, they have to pull out these quotes and it's just like,
I think
that's the
part of it
reality.
is too that a lot of our students don't have boundaries as to appropriate use.
Sure.
And that frustrates teachers like crazy. And the attitude with, not everyone, but many, is that they'd rather do without them.
Sure.
Because it's more of a hindrance than it is helpful.
Yeah,
Especially if there isn't that continuity that everybody's using Google Classroom, or everybody's, you know, or not every teacher is educated to use the tools that are.
So I think what we're hearing definitely at the high school is like more boundaries, like.
Oh, yeah.
One thing we've talked about because we want to rewrite the one-to-one policy right now, is making it more of an acceptable use policy so that it's part of like, it's not just the one-to-one, I'm agreeing, I'm using this device, I'm going to take care of it, but there's an acceptable use policy of how you
use it acceptably.
How do you use the internet and how you use the device in an acceptable manner. But I think at the high school especially, we have to have more buy-in that this is what we are doing and that as staff, we have to improve our technology use. It's not an option, it's
And
a,
I think if we say that, then we need to make technology equitable.
right.
Because like she was saying, we don't have that many teachers who even have a smartboard.
Right.
You know, we don't have the equitable resources, which to me is like, you know.
But I don't know that we're going to smart boards for everybody.
Well,
anyway.
that's an example.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
like I feel like there needs to be some equity.
Right.
And I just want to say, I
think that's a really good.
I don't even know.
Because you can't say you're going to do this, and then, I mean, that's been the hardest thing at the high school is like, 11th and 12th grade didn't have one-to-ones. We're doing all this training on one-to-one, and then we're leaving
I think
out.
that they need to though excuse themselves for that and not feel bad about it, because that is the truth. We bottom loaded technology.
Yeah.
And it really should not yet be a smooth, great, positive thing yet. The high school, you still have an entire grade living off of the leftover schmucked together. Like, I don't think that's something you should beat yourselves up about. I also think you also don't have teams the same. At the elementary school, you have 15, 12, I don't know how many it is. Teachers who are all doing the same thing, that if somebody has something awesome, when you share it, you know that those people are all doing the same thing. And it's like, yes, in the high school, you maybe have one person teaching that one class. They on their own have to go out and find it. And even if they wanted to share it, nobody cares about this weird history. I'm the only one that teaches. It naturally, it's not about that they don't want to work together. Like, it really does just happen that way. And I think what you're saying, we experience the same thing at the middle school. You guys can say to your kids, close all tabs. And they say, okay, except the 2 or 3 that are in every kid's classroom who are, you know, your special needs or your turkeys. At the high school, it becomes a much more real thing. I'm trying to teach and you're all on, but yeah. And now you're a kid who, when I says, will you please close that, says, F you. Or whatever, do you know what I mean? It's a different deal. That it is easier to say, why would I fight this? I could just tell them, don't open them, and maybe actually they will all learn. Like, I just think everything you're saying has nothing to do with it. I don't think we should ever say, well, this school's doing it. It's not that any school's doing it any better.
Different.
It's the nature of the way.
But I think we can learn from each other. I don't think there's ever.
I think we just need time
we
with
do.
staff. We just, as the high school staff, we don't have.
And now that
time
we're
to
there, because we haven't been able to do it. I mean, now like my brain's like running, and it's never been like, oh, middle school's doing it better because of this. Middle school's had,
right,
all the
every
teachers
kid
have
had
laptops, every kid's had a Chromebook. So now, like, maybe we can use our last couple of tech coach meetings to say, why don't we as a team work together to come up with a plan to help the staff feel like, here's the plan for dealing with kids who don't bring Chromebooks. Here's the plan for dealing with, and if the higher B's say, nope, I don't agree with it, at least we've written something.
It's probably something that we're gonna have to start thinking about for next year.
Right.
I think
Let's
implementing it
at
now.
least help them get a
Thinking
plan in
ahead would be
place.
the best, I think, option in this scenario. I think trying to right now come down the middle of the school year with the
No,
hand,
no,
like,
no,
if you
no.
don't have your Chromebook right now, well, then you're gonna go to the
Right.
office.
So I think if we wrap up like what we're, No, but I think if we get back to where our conversation was of like what's going really well for tech coaching or what needs work is that what we're hearing at the high school especially is we need to help them find consistency. Like that still feels chaotic and that maybe as a team we can take leadership on it and I don't know, like for me, and maybe you guys have felt this too, like I feel like, well, who's gonna take leadership on that? Like is Barb gonna do it? Is Emery gonna do it? Maybe we do it and then we just see what happens and we give them our ideas and then we let them tweak it. I don't know, like.
And do you guys want help from middle school? I mean, we've been doing this for a while.
Well, and we
Not
can
it's
share
gonna be
that.
Exactly the same rules, but at least you can know what we do here, so you can build on that when you get.
Yeah,
to
I
high
think
school.
that would definitely be good conversation.
I think so too, definitely looking, and I know Tanya and I are on the same PLC, we've talked about really wanting to get like a document together, and I think this speaks to what you said, Olivia, of vertical alignment of what tech skills kids have had, to say, because I know kids have known how to use Google Docs since they were in 3rd grade. So there's no reason they use them in Nikki's class, they know how to turn in an assignment.
That's what I knew that.
But if it's not consistent, so now if we now know, starting next year, every 3rd grader up to 12th grade is gonna have access to a Chromebook. So would it be, I don't think unreasonable, to have a document that says every 3rd grader should know how to do blah, 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 blah. Every 4th grader should leave 4th grade knowing how to do this. So that as a 10th grade teacher, you can look and say, you know what? It's expected in our district, you know how to do A, B, C, and D, and so I should expect that from you. Granted, there's gonna be 1 or 2 kids that, but does that make sense for, is that something as like tech coaches that we can work on?
I think it makes great sense.
Yeah.
It's just getting it together. It's just like having standards for every other
Right.
subject area. Like we should be having standards in most aspects.
I just don't know if we can count on it. I can tell you that I can tell the teachers in our school the things that I know the kids are learning, that I know I specifically taught, that I graded, that I checked off. But just because we did a little unit on email for 4 days and you all proved it to me, and at the end of the 4 days, you could do all of these things, if you don't ever go back and touch any of them, and if no other teacher in the building, every time a kid says, hey, blah, 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 no punctuation. If the teacher doesn't always respond with, I won't accept your email without correct punctuation. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's that whole consistency thing I think is almost nearly impossible to do for a lot of things. That I think if you really, like you can't really just say they're all gonna have this because it's taught and some will continue and then they do have it. But I could tell you
But
the
you
things
could
that
say
I
that
really thought,
about-
and you could look and say, are you serious?
Yeah.
Shannon? 10 of those kids are in my class.
Well, it's
And
just
they're like
with
idiots.
history,
But
you're-
you
I
could
like
say that about
there's
anything, but
content.
if we actually say it and tell
Yeah.
people to embed it, right now, there's people who would never think to do anything with email in their classroom. They don't think it's their job because it's Shannon's job, it's Brenda's job, it's Tanya's job.
I do get that. Hey,
But
what you
if
thought
we
about- I'm like,
said
what?
it's your job to do this part of email with your students as part of your job, that's a little different.
Couldn't some of it present the way, I mean, I don't know how each building does it, but like the way we do Tiger Pride, where it's, you know, they know what that is, and they know what it looks like in each building, because we've made it like a, you know, no kid's gonna come to you, and if they do decide to say F you, none of them are going to say, oh, I didn't know I couldn't swear in class. Well, yes, you do, because we've taught you Tiger Pride since you were in kindergarten. You know exactly what's expected of you as far as behavior. So if we, I know you can't have it on the same level as technology, but like I know I have 3rd graders that come to me and they're freaking out because their iPad wasn't charged, and I look at them and say, whose responsibility was it to plug it in?
Right, and that's the difference. That's how I think what I was saying about the high school can't do it, because the truth is, a 3rd grader goes into a panic and feels terrible about it. A middle schooler asks, do you have a spare charger, or does anybody have your charger in your locker? And the teachers will help them, which maybe only enables them. And by the high school, you should be able to say, you know what, kid?
But I meant like, as if
You're
it's a
stuck, right?
progression.
Like, you
Yeah,
can't
but if we are
Yeah,
using
I
the
know, it's
same
just, we gotta figure something out.
language, if we use the same language and if we have consistency, like we're saying here, that where it gets confusing, you guys have some very consistent policies of, we know that everyone's supposed to have it, that all teachers have it. They don't have that, and
Well,
that's
like,
where it's
even
getting
something as
confusing.
simple as like, I can have a kid ask me for a charger, but I've only been given one charger and there's 2 different types of Chromebooks in the room. So if I don't have a charger, if I don't have that charger, sorry, I don't have one.
Right, that's what we do. I mean, that's all we have to.
Or like
Medicaid might offer.
they care about not having Chromebook when a bunch of teachers do their tests online, and then like I had like a few in a cart, and they were like, how do you hold them accountable when your test depends on it?
I've
had
with
kids
the new,
really-
with the new Google locked quizzes,
Yeah.
kids are finally realizing that they have to bring their Chromebooks.
Yeah.
I think it might be. a good
But
idea
that's
to
on the
send out-
teacher too, if they're not
Right.
bringing their Chromebook and the teacher is
Well, a lot of
only,
them-
it's
a
not
lot of
on you to provide a device for every kid if they don't.
But a lot of them
Because
are
their test
bringing
is
their
online, they have
own-
to bring on paper. You can print a Google quiz.
Yep, a lot of them are working on their own computers because they work better than going to the school table.
Right.
Yeah,
But
but
they're just not there.
where they're doing the
Exactly.
locked quizzes, they're like, I always use my computer, but this teacher's using locked quiz and you need a school sanctioned device.
But what a good learning
We gave you one.
opportunity, what a good learning opportunity for them to recognize, just like in the real world. You know, you leave your car keys somewhere, well, you go out to the parking lot, you can't go home. You have to go back and look for your keys. I showed up without my charger, I guess I can't take my quiz today. I'm gonna have to figure out when I'm gonna redo it. If it was a lock quiz, I'm gonna have a choice now. Either I start problem solving through it or I lose the point. And if parents have a hard time with that, that's the reality of the world that they're gonna move into.
But the thing is they don't lose the points, they just, it's on us then to find a time for
Right.
them to make
It
it up.
puts more work
It
on
puts
us.
more work on us
Yeah.
as a teacher.
And I mean, we're spoiled a little bit at the intermediate school, because if I have kids who don't show up, I can call the behavior room and say, so-and-so's iPad's dead, but we're taking a quiz today. You know, can I send them down at a different time?
Yeah, and you guys don't send your devices home, so you don't have
No.
to.
So
Well,
all of
let's-
you are always charged, right? I mean, it's just, there's.
No.
No, they're not.
Well, I tell them it's their job. We always say at the end of the
Believe me,
day.
I've been in there plenty of times, but they're not. So let's just kind of finish it up, because I know people want to get out here right on time. Like, what's going, if we look at the Tech Coach program in general, like, what about how we're running the Tech Coach program right now do you really like? What do you think is, yep, this has to stay, this is what we need to keep doing?
Is that something that we answer, or is it something that the people we serve answer?
That's a good question.
I mean, I think that they're the ones that need to answer that question.
Okay.
I love being able to go to things such as ties. And it's, I mean, I think that's a great part of our program that we're able to do that.
Yeah.
We're able to learn things to bring back.
Yeah, and share.
So people kind of need to want to know.
Yep. And what about how the program is run? So think about how we meet monthly, we meet twice a year. I mean, that's kind of set by ATPPS, but it's what we're doing right now. We meet with staff one-on-one. What about that would you change if we could? You see another way of structuring the Tech Coach program that would be?
I don't think of any structural changes, but I would say, I feel like the number of district meetings and the number of building level meetings and the number of times I'm expected to in a year meet the needs of my, 12 or 15 coaches, I feel is acceptable. Like I am not bothered or upset or feel like this is crazy for the money that I'm being paid. Like, I feel like I'm not frustrated at all.
I wouldn't want any more, but I wouldn't feel right doing any less.
Okay.
But I feel like it's, I wish, and I do appreciate that. I still think if I check in, if I've tried, that if the blank, it's just being left blank, this person was not connected with. I appreciate that right now that there's not something tied to that. Where, well, then you're not gonna get your pay because you didn't, because I can't ask them to donate their time to
Right,
meet
and
with
I
them.
appreciate people who have been putting in, I emailed them 3 times and they didn't respond back, or I contacted them. However, they just won't connect with me, or, some people have said, put extra lines below, and well, I met with this person about this and this person about this. That's just stuff that it's helpful, because I already know who the staff are that aren't connecting. I mean, none of these are surprising me, but when I look, like I said, at the Tech Coach job description and the tech integration job description, we gotta find a way to close those holes, because staff really shouldn't be, I don't wanna say allowed, because that's not right, but staff should be increasing their tech ability every year, and how do we?
There is about having a time during a staff development that we can meet with our tech coaches, like during this hour, you're gonna meet with your tech coach, and this is your time. Bring anything that you need to have questions about, because if you have questions about these things, then maybe someone else does. And we
Maybe a
can
small
just do,
group thing could be cool.
right,
Yeah.
like I have 12 coaches or whatever it
Like
is.
staff development days, or what about staff meeting?
No.
Well,
Not
you-
staff meeting.
no,
Hard pass.
Here's
Got it.
what how about right now?
Those up.
We all, it will shock me if we are told as teachers that we are not doing anything to make up those days.
Yeah.
If one option is that you can slowly tally up some, not do it on your own, PD, because some people need to show up, be here. If I can say, I'll be after school on this night and here's what I'm doing, and anybody that wants to come. Because now it's set up and the people are getting paid and they have to log in, they might be more willing to make the time to come.
Some of us are working currently on some of those plans, so
I mean, I
I'm
just
adding
know,
that to our list of ideas.
we used to have 8 hours. That was when I very first started teaching here, of your contract year. 8 hours of your contract time was 100% independent, your own. You had to, over the course of the year, log it. And then, it didn't matter. You maybe went to a workshop in an evening. I just think that if people have to make up those days, then they can do it.
Like maybe that could be something the tech coaches do, is making themselves
Right, and so you don't
available
even
for
have
the
to
time
come,
thing.
you don't have to be my tech person. But if the tech coaches, and maybe we can be logged as double time. You planned whatever you were doing and you did it, so that helps you make up for your time, and you offer it up, and anybody that shows up can get, I think we would get staff that would come. If it was come for a half an hour and then on your own, leave and now go ahead and do something, if all they are just, if they can just be held accountable themselves, or trusted, maybe not held accountable.
I will add it to our ideas when I talk to people who have way more power than I do. The other quick idea, I know I've talked to every building about when the Google Expeditions comes back, that we're gonna have to change up how we do it, but a really cool thing, if you have a smartphone, which I know you all do now, download Google Tour Builder and play with it. You can build your own tour. So here's my super fun idea. I'm gonna start a contest in the district where kids can do a tour of a place in Princeton and submit it. I'm going to pick my favorites. I'm going to build a Princeton tour, and then the contest winners will get to see their submissions in the VR goggles when we bring the VR goggles back. Ah, isn't that awesome? Okay, we'll be more excited about it because it's really awesome. All right.
I know, our kids, when we went down and did it in the, we went down and made it at the river.
Yeah.
And then when we had them, they could all see their own little virtual.
Yeah.
They like
Well, and the Google, I mean, it's not perfect, but the thing is, you can do it on any phone, and you just keep hitting the button. You don't need a special camera anymore. But I know there's kids in the community who probably have like 360 cameras.
Yeah, and their drone.
The LMS search we'll talk about at building meetings, which will happen in March. Just know that it's not moving forward without lots of input, okay? So, all right, you guys, get home, be safe, drive very, very safely, please. And thank you for your time and your input. Thank you, live people.